Imagine you're a Roman general deep in hostile territory. Your supply lines are cut, your soldiers are starving, and a massive enemy force is closing in from all sides. According to orthodox military tactics, you have exactly one option: retreat. But in the late summer of 52 BC, Julius Caesar faced this exact scenario and chose a very different path. His opponent was a young nobleman named Vercingetorix, a warlord who had been successfully united the famously fractured Gallic tribes. Vercingetorix knew he couldn't beat Roman legions in a pitched battle, so he ordered his own people to burn their grain stores, slaughter their herds, and torch their own towns to starve the Roman army. This topographical map shows where Vercingetorix ultimately fortified his forces, a flat-topped plateau called Alesia. Because it was surrounded by steep, craggy river valleys on three sides, the terrain made a direct infantry assault practically impossible. Vercingetorix locked himself on top of this plateau with 80,000 fighters. But the true danger for Caesar was moving in from the horizon. Vercingetorix had sent out riders begging neighboring tribes for help, and a relief army of over 100,000 Gallic warriors was rapidly converging on the Roman position. Caesar was heavily outnumbered and effectively pinned. Instead of trying to break out and escape, he gave his soldiers an entirely different order. He told them to start digging. Caesar deployed 50,000 men to build a contravallation line, an inward-facing ring 16 kilometers long, closing around the Alesia Plateau. A cross-section reveals the layers: a primary trench 5 meters wide, 2 parallel ditches, an earthen rampart, and a wooden palisade. The real danger was buried out front. The Romans planted dense fields of concealed traps. These included lilia, shallow, camouflaged pits filled with thick, sharpened wooden stakes designed to impale anyone charging the wall. The blockade choked Alesia quickly. As food supplies dwindled, Vercingetorix expelled the local Mandubii civilians, women, children, and the elderly, assuming the Romans would either feed them or let pass. Caesar refused to open his lines. The civilians were left trapped in the no-man's land between the walls, dying of starvation. The inner ring operated exactly as intended. It was a brutal, mechanical system designed to squeeze the plateau until the defenders collapsed. Just as Alesia was suffocating, the massive Gallic relief army finally appeared on the surrounding hills. To protect his forces, Caesar ordered a second wall, a circumvallation 21 kilometers long, facing outward. His entire 50,000-man army was now living trapped inside a narrow corridor between two walls, holding their barracks, food stores, and field hospitals. Every single trench, palisade, and spiked pit that protected them from the inner plateau was perfectly mirrored on this new outer boundary. In about a month, Roman engineering had converted an open valley into a closed-loop fortress. Caesar had become the besieger and the besieged at the exact same time. The true test of this machine came when the Gauls launched a coordinated, dual-sided assault. Vercingetorix attacked from the inside, while the massive relief force struck from the outside under the cover of darkness. There was a structural flaw in the outer ring. On the northern slope, broken terrain forced engineers to build on a vulnerable incline. The Gauls spotted this weakness, driving 60,000 warriors directly into the gap, causing the Roman line to buckle. Seeing the wall fracturing, Caesar personally rode into the collapsing sector. Wearing his highly visible scarlet cloak, he directed reinforcements and fought from the saddle to keep the line intact. Defense alone wouldn't win the day. Caesar gathered his highly skilled Germanic horsemen, ordering them to sweep wide around the outside of the fortifications to strike the Gallic relief force directly from behind. The sudden shock of being attacked from the rear while pushing against a fortified wall completely broke the Gallic momentum. The massive relief army dissolved into a panicked retreat, and the threat was over. The next morning, Vercingetorix realized his gamble had failed. He rode out from Alesia in full armor, dismounted, and dropped his weapons silently at Caesar's feet. For his defiance, the Gallic king was sent to Rome in chains, kept alive for 6 long years, solely to be paraded through the streets during Caesar's triumph, and then strangled in a damp prison cell. The capitulation at Alesia ended organized Gallic resistance. The staggering wealth, grain, and slaves extracted from Gaul flowed directly into Caesar's personal treasury, giving him the immense financial and military capital he needed to eventually march on Rome itself. If you visit the site in Burgundy today, the vast wooden palisades have long since rotted away, but archaeologists have unearthed the original trenches and pits, still containing the sharpened iron tips of Caesar's traps, perfectly preserved in the soil. Alesia leaves us with a blunt military reality. The vast territory of Western Europe fell to the Roman Republic because of the relentless, crushing discipline of its soldiers' shovels.